Hello and welcome back to another installment of Poke Fodder. Today is Monday. Did you guys have a good weekend? How is the gym going for you? If I look, I am currently on a 4-game win streak. I am using Care Bear's deck at the moment, although I've been switching around quite a bit. And I'm ranked 203rd. Because the gym is going all the way up for 7 days instead of just the 4, I think it's going to take probably in the 2100 range for ranking in order to get all 3 trophies. I believe that was kind of the magic number in gyms past when you had longer, when it dropped down to the 4 days. I believe somewhere around 1900, maybe 18 and change, high 18s, ended up being the threshold for gaining the 3 trophies. And I debated on whether I was going to do another gym, but I feel like you guys already kind of have a grasp on what's going on with this gym. It's been out for 4 days now, but on top of that, last gym was Psychic and Poison, I believe, where you had a bunch of Gengars. And the one before that was Ghost Psychic, I believe. Gosh, these are all starting to run together. And that was Gengar and Sableye. And I feel like for the 3rd gym in a row, it's kind of more of the same. And like I'm already at the 30 wins, so I'm not going to do a gym video today. Instead, I'm going to do my Nebby Deck. Now, I've named it the Nebby Deck, and I know that Nebby is just a move that is part of it, but I don't know. I don't know why I named it the Nebby Deck. It needed a name. When you have Deoxys, it's a Cosmo deck. When you have a bunch of grass and flying type Pokemon, it's a tropical deck. When you have Seismitoads and Gengars and Crobats, it's a poison deck. So I named this one a Nebby Deck. And the first thing I'm going to do is I played this morning on my live stream to do my dailies, and I used my Nebby Deck. And one of the matches from that got featured. It's against a Cosmo deck. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to run that back for you guys and just let you watch. And then at the end of it, I will go into explaining how my deck is built, the role that each Pokemon plays in the deck, and then I'll probably play 1 game live with commentary for you guys. So without further ado, we're going to roll the clip. Okay, so good stuff there, right? That kind of showcased a lot of what I like about this deck. So if I want to go into explaining the buildup of this deck, I would start with, this is not the first version of the deck that I put together. The first version actually had Cobalion in there where Tapu Lele is. And then the second version of the deck actually had Oricorio, not pom-pom style, Pau style. The reason why I've settled on Tapu Lele is because of its passives, more or less. And so what this is going to do, and the reason why I feel like this is superior to Cobalion, is because while yes, it is true, if I put either my Lunala or my Cosmog or my Cosmoem next to Cobalion, they cannot be knocked out by gold. That is true. And that's very beneficial, especially in this deck that, as you saw, is heavy on purple. Where I think Tapu Lele excels and outclasses Koba is because, yes, it's great that I can't be knocked out. The problem is as you saw, I have to roll Nebby's power in order to evolve my Cosmogs. And let's be honest, there are the rare instances where I will land my one splash into a miss, but those are very few and far between. So what I need to do is I need to be able to land Nebby's power. What Lele does, if you'll remember, not a lot of people run Tapu Lele. So what it does is it negates the gold attack within like 2 MP spaces. So this actually allows me to attack into a predominantly gold attacker, say Mew, say Zapdos, even Tapu Koko, and their gold disappears, which means I actually have a greater chance of triggering my Nebby's power evolution. The next reason why I think Tapu Lele is superior is it also is going to add 1 star on my attacks. So if you think about, Lunala has a 1-star, and this is just the base Lunala, has the 1-star Will-O-Wisp and then the 2-star Moongeist. If I'm attacking on my turn, those actually become a 2-star Will-O-Wisp and a 3-star Moongeist Beam. And that's important. That turns what could be either a losing roll or a tying roll into a winning roll for me. Those are nice benefits. And finally, the third thing that I like, that I think Tapu Lele excels in over Cobalion, is the fact he can fly. It looks like a she actually, but we'll call it an it. It actually walls Tapu Koko. And if I'm attacking into Tapu Koko with Tapu Lele, my only fear is him landing a physical into my miss. That is why I've settled on Tapu Lele. The rest of this, Tapu Koko is in there. A is my runner, and B because he can move over Pokemon. So the mobility of Tapu Koko is the reason why he's in there. A far better runner for this particular deck build than, say, a Mew. I wouldn't even know what else. Honestly, I don't even know what other runner I would put in this deck. Again, Tapu Koko is going to help stall out an opponent's rush if they're doing the 2 Koko or the Mega Gengar and Koko Rush. Tapu Koko, me having one on my deck, is going to help stall out. The next thing you have, and where I'm putting in my resources, and as you can tell, if we go and look at this, my Cosmog is level 8, which means I took it to level 5 as a rare. You know, I've put a lot of coins into this, and now I'm putting a lot of Carmonite into this. Cosmog EM is level 5. I don't really know that Cosmog EM, it's not next on my priority list for Carmonite. I'll just put it to you that way. It could benefit from Carmonite, but it's not of a high priority. So I have 2 of those. One of them evolves into Lunala, and as you would guess, the second one evolves into Leo. And because I get asked this question a lot, and I know I'll probably get comments on this, how often do I actually evolve these? And I would say that the number of times that I've evolved everything, so I've gone two Solgaleos and 2 Lunalas in my decks 2 or 3 times, and definitely no more than 5. You know, 2, 3, 4, somewhere in there. I don't remember exactly, but somewhere in that ballpark. But I feel pretty confident in saying no more than 5, which isn't a lot. I've played quite a few games with this deck. But the number of times that I've evolved one of them all the way, I would say is in the upwards of 80% of my games, and that's just a wild guess, but it happens fairly often. And typically, if I don't evolve at all, then I lose pretty quickly. And those are the matches that I'm not going to get any of the evolutions off of. So Leo is, so after Cosmog, Solgaleo is the next priority for taking to level 9. I don't know that I need to go to level 10 on this. Once I'm down to 8 miss, I think it's kind of a wash at that point. And what I did for this Solgaleo is I beefed up his 100 attack with Lunala. I took to level 5, and Lunala is it's relatively high on the priority list for Carmonite, except that in my mind it's going to fall behind 2 more levels on Solgaleo. And then quite honestly, I may decide to beef up my second Solgaleo with Carmonite before I start embarking in on Lunala, just because 13 miss versus 5 miss. For me, that's a huge difference. I would rather get that 13 miss or 12 miss at level 5 down to 8 before I start messing with a Pokemon that already only has 4 miss. I think that's a better use. So for me, and this is, you know, other people feel free to disagree, but for me, the top priorities, if you're going to replicate a deck similar to this, are the Cosmogs. The next priority for me is going to be Solgaleo, followed by Lunala. I don't even know that, I mean, by the time we get around to putting Carmonite into Tapu Koko or Tapu Lele, there may be something better out there. So for now, they are at the bottom of the priority list, for me anyways. My plates: Double Chance, X Speed, Swap Spot, Pokemon Switch, Long Throw, Goal Block. Every plate here has its role, and I toy with changing my plates around here or there, but at the end of the day, I just can't justify making those changes, because yes, it might be nice to have another Double Chance, but there are plenty of situations where an X Speed on Solgaleo could win me a game. Swap Spot, as you saw in my last game, it got me into a position where I was able to attack, where normally I wouldn't have been able to attack, and he could have set up better to defend. Long Throw keeps my Pokemon on the field. Goal Block I use because it's Goal Block. And that's all I want to say about that. So that's a pretty in-depth description of the deck, the roles that each of the different Pokemon fill. And I'm hesitant to go further because the way that I play this is, it's kind of like if you know how somebody wants to play their game, then it becomes easier to combat. And then if I run into any viewers, you guys are going to know what I'm trying to do. So I'm just going to leave it at that. This is my Nebby deck. It is like any other deck in the fact that if you don't get any rolls, it's an extremely frustrating deck to play. on the surface, there's not a lot of power here. Yeah, Solgaleo is nice, and Lunala is nice, but Cosmog, like, one is not knocking anything out except for Magikarp or the rare one into miss. You know, Tapu Lele is only doing 99 damage. That's pretty underpowered in today's meta. Coco has my only gold and hits for 99, which, again, meh. I only have the one chain level, and I put it in the 120, and here's why. If I go up against Entei, if I go up against Terrakion, and those are the top two that come to mind. I can't remember what else. I guess Lunala now. Lunala does 60, so that's 120. If I land my 100 into my opponent's 120, we're both going to go back to the bench. More times than not, that's going to be a win in my book. The problem is, and the reason why I did the 121 is because now if I roll my 121 into those Pokemon, or even another Solgaleo, a mirror match, if I roll my 121 into their 120, it's actually a win for me, where before it would be a push. That is why. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense in my mind. So you already saw a video of a really nice game showcasing the deck, but I'm gonna go ahead and play a match for you. And I will give you this warning ahead of time. My games tend to take a while to play. They typically are not really quick, although there are some ways to cheese victories. We may or may not get a cheese victory. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna go up against the Coco Mega Gengar Rush. You guys kind of already know what my game plan is here to slow that down. And having long throw and goal block really helps with slowing down the rush. I typically don't struggle, and as I say that, I will probably struggle mightily, but I typically don't struggle with the rush with this deck. So I am going to bring Lele out. And where this would struggle is if my opponent goes super aggressive right here and pulls Tapu Koko down to here. I would probably just move Tapu Lele over, which he doesn't want to do. So that's fine. Typically they won't. Typically when they see my plates and my setup, they're like, okay, well, I'm not gonna rush. I think he leveled up his 120, but put the chain level into his 100 attack. Now, more times than not, my Cosmog is going to get destroyed by both Zapdos and Mew. There are situations like what you just saw where they actually survive for a turn. That's fine. And then there are situations like that where they actually survive 2 turns. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to go for the cheese win. I am going to take a double chance. And my odds aren't great on this working because he does have gold. But the reward is a win if it works. And it didn't work. There's no need to change anything up there. I don't know what he does here. He probably brings Zapdos out and attack, although that's risky, I'm not gonna lie. If he rolls miss or 50, and he doesn't, so it doesn't matter. It's a risky play, especially when you're talking about Zapdos, who is notorious for missing and rolling Steel Wing. Okay. And now he can't shuttle flip because of Solgaleo's passive. We are going to double check his plates real quick. So he's got... I don't really have, like... So you may be asking yourself, why would you bring Nebby out when he has Zapdos and Mew on his bench and it's such a bad matchup? The thing is I just don't fear those Pokemon with Nebby. If Nebby gets knocked, or if Cosmo gets knocked out, he gets knocked out. No big deal, honestly. And now we'll bring Lunala over here. Let's see if we can't trigger our Nebby's power here. No. So as you can see, when they don't roll great, and like, I'm not even gonna get into the math on this, but the fact that, come on, the fact that one of them is a 13 and the other is a 14, I believe, and they both have rolled it out of my first, 2 out of my first 3 spins were those. That's, I don't know the odds, but it's not good. And I know that they're independent rolls, so got to keep that in mind. We will step over here. This is actually a pretty decent matchup for me. It's going to knock me back, but it also takes him out. It will most likely bring Zapdos down, and that's fine. And now I need to... I already used my double chance, so we don't get to try that again. I'm just going to block that off. The better play may have been to go up here to let him have my entry point. And so you can see, it's just like any other deck, where if you get no rolls, and as you can see, I'm getting 0 rolls at the moment. I haven't won a single roll. The only Pokemon I've knocked out was him winning the roll, but the passive knocking me out anyways. So it's just like any other deck. If you get 0 usable rolls, then you're probably going to struggle. Although a teleport here negates everything, Nebby's power. I'm going to bring Lunala off the bench, and yes, even with both of my entry points covered, I can pull him off out of the PC onto the board, and now he really has a decision to make here. He could either go Mega Gengar and cover goal, or, and that would be a bad play, by the way, or he can goal block with Zapdos, maybe? I don't know what his best bet here is. Okay, so this was a bad play because no matter what, I'm going to get my evolution of... Oh, and he didn't even attack. So now I'm going to get my evolution. I don't even know which one this is. Okay, so it's Lunala. And there we go. Just like that. Now he's probably going to go attack my goal. And he's going to use an X attack to do it. And we will miss. Oh, what do we do here? We're going to need to survive. Actually, no. We need him not to roll blue, and we need to not roll miss. Oh, we rolled the miss. We'd have been fine. If he knocks him out, we're fine, and we probably go on to win the game. But that's disappointing right there, quite honestly. But there you go. So that's the Nebby Deck. I don't know what else to say. Had I won that roll, I think I probably go on to win that match because I still had goal block, I still had my long throw, and I was going to be able to keep him from taking over my goal very easily. If I just lost like the next 3 rolls, just like I lost that one, then I would have lost anyways. But that was unfortunate. It was just unfortunate that I didn't. All I needed to do was win 1 roll there. I'll put it to you that way. Out of 2, I needed to win 1, and I would say that I was a heavy favorite on one and a heavy underdog on the other, and lost them both. So it happens. That's how the game goes. But there you have it. There is Nebby. Head over to my Discord. Tell me what you guys think. Is it a gimmick deck? Is it competitive? Do you like it? I don't want you to ever run it. It's my deck. I'm just going to say, like, people credit, I think it's Jive, with building the deck with the 2 Kobas. I mean, the Koba and the 2 Deoxys Defense forms on either side of it. They kind of credit him with that, although he isn't the originator of the deck. There was actually a Japanese, I believe, player who started using that first. But to the best of my knowledge, no one else is running a deck like this. So I'm going to take credit and say that this is my deck. And you are not allowed to use it because I don't want to face it. I know, I'm stingy and greedy at the same time, but that's going to do it for today's installment. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you like my Nebby deck. I hope you don't ever want to face my Nebby deck, and I hope you just forfeit if I ever play you. So until next time.